we have done this before, but I guess the introduction is going to be a little bit different. Tell the people who you are, where you are, and why you're there.
All right, so my name's Ashley Corts. I am the owner of Black Forge Coffee in Pittsburgh, PA, and I am currently at a Chevron gas station in the middle of Utah because I'm traveling the country, raising awareness and funds for independent music venues across the country.
Right on. Well, so I have something that like I need to say to you, but before I jump into that, can you tell the people more about the Save Our Stages tour and why it's even necessary?
Yeah, so what we're doing is, with everything going on since the beginning of COVID, the music industry has been one of the hardest hit industries, especially someone that comes from a background of being a lighting designer of about 12 years and owning a music venue for the last 5. It's really important to me to fight for this cause of raising awareness for smaller venues, because even with funding that is available, independent music venues are one of the last ones to receive funding because they have a full staff. They're not operating at all. Like, a lot of these venues are lucky enough to be able to serve food and beer, but a lot of them are just remain closed and they have nothing coming in. And that's where I was just like, you know what? I have to do something for these people, especially seeing all of my friends and family that are in the music industry suffering. Even if I can raise a couple of bucks for them to, buy a meal or to help with a bill that's hanging over their head, or virtually anything that can just contribute a little bit, is what my mission is about. So by spreading the awareness across the country, this helps with, hopefully inspiring other people in those neighborhoods to be like, oh, I didn't realize that my neighbor has been suffering the way that they have been. Maybe we can do something to collaborate with them. It's just little things that I'm hoping that might trigger some more awareness for people. But what we're doing is selling these SOS coffee blend bags that we made, and 20% of those proceeds are donated to venues, promoters, organizations, and festivals from all over the country. You can support it digitally by buying a bag online. And again, 20% of that goes to an independent music venue if you use their code. So for example, like Spirit in Pittsburgh, they have their own code. It's just Spirit. Or Drusky Entertainment, it's Drusky. We're also working with venues like 930 Club in DC and the Ardmore in Philly. So we have a decent amount around, but I'm still doing a lot of outreach to contact with more venues to see if they're interested in being a part of this, because like, all I'm doing is just trying to raise some funds to help people out. And all you have to do is share the graphic with your code on it. And at the end of the month, hopefully I raise you a couple of bucks that can help you in any sort of way. And then it's also cool because a lot of people don't know how to, contribute to their local venues because they don't have ways of selling tangible products.
Right.
So by having this coffee, it's a tangible product that I can help push some funds that way. And, you can drink this coffee and feel good that it's supporting that venue.
And it is amazing. I have it every morning, so I can vouch
Thank
for
you.
the quality of the coffee is legit for sure. How many venues do you think that you have kind of like on your roster? You'd say right now.
Probably about 20. And this is like, the whole reason I started this was to help local independent Pittsburgh venues, but I was like, wait, I can do this for any venue because it's just online, and I plan on doing this tour to like stop at those venues and help raise more funds for them, because a lot of this tour so far, so we started in San Diego, and it was at the Oddities and Curiosities Expo. So what we did there was sell those bags, and then I kept it in a pot that we raised. And the next venue that we went to, which was Alex's Bar in Long Beach, it was a windy day, it was cold, so the turnout wasn't like the best that we expected, but you know, it doesn't matter because we're still out there, we're still doing something. And the money that I raised from the Oddities and Curiosities Expo, and then the following day I was at the Fourth Horseman, which is an awesome like museum, pizza shop, metal. It's so cool. We were meant to be together. And like the money I raised from there, I combined the two and then gave it to Alex's bar. So like to hand over like donation money that I made for a venue owner is like the most rewarding thing in the entire world. Like it felt so good. It brought a tear to my eye. I was just like, this is what I've raised for you so far. Hopefully it helps. And he was like, thank you so much. Like, you know, and again, like it's just the reward of feeling that I'm doing some good.
Right. When you were booking, are a lot of your dates with the Oddities and Curiosities Expo, or are you
So
just yeah, go ahead.
So those are our major dates. So that kind of decides on what venues I hit up around that city. So like the next city that I'm going to, well, first I'm going to Ohio when I come back to hit up a couple of my friends' venues, which is Westside Bowl in Youngstown and the Foundry in Cleveland. So after this, I'll be in Ohio, and then like a week and a half, I'll be home in Pittsburgh, kind of like settling up and like getting revamped, and then we'll be leaving for Knoxville, Tennessee.
Nice.
So I'm trying to figure out more venues or breweries or small businesses that are willing to host me, so I can just continue to do what I do for this entire mission.
Is this is anybody else kind of doing what you're doing, like anybody that's kind of involved with like Oddities and Curiosities, or is anybody else in that expo kind of sharing in what you're doing, or is this just kind of like your lone trek, like your lone like mission that you put on your back?
Yeah, this is just me knowing like I've toured, you know, when I was younger with bands, and like I know how to live on the road, and having a good friend with me who also lives on the road and understands, you know, like having someone with you and how important it is to like keep each other, you know, safe and responsible. Um, you know, that's one thing you have to keep in mind. And on top of that, like no one else is traveling right now, and I know it's scary for me, I think of it, and like for a lot of people that are concerned with the pandemic, but no one else is going out there and doing this. So I feel like it's a big part of me to just try, because you only live once, you only have one opportunity, and if you have the opportunity, you always take it. And that's how I live my entrepreneurial life, is just like when an opportunity arises, you take it. If you fail, so what? Do something different, take your time, and it will come to you. And like I've had a lot of failures trying to start this project. um a lot of them were pretty disheartening, but at the same time, like running two coffee shops in general, like i'm I'm not set up for failure, but like always something just ends up happening where you're just like, damn, that's a step back, but I got to go back and figure it out and just do it. So that's why I'm able to do this, is just pure will.
Just powering through it all. Um,
Yeah.
so how many stops have you had so far?
So Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I had 6 out of the 7 days that we were vending.
Oh, okay, cool. So
Yeah, we were
then,
supposed to do one of my oddity tours in San Francisco. I think it was when we were driving out, it got canceled. So that's another thing with this tour, is like I have to be prepared for cancellations, which is fine, you know,
yeah.
but it is what it is, and I can't control it. And I've already become like self-aware that I have to be okay with it. And it's all because of the safety of everyone else around me and for me.
Yeah, I mean, just the way that things are, everything is like a no notice thing. Like you just have to be prepared to hear that it's not happening.
Right, exactly.
So this is basically your first leg, right? And then you said you're
Yeah.
on your way home right now. How many legs will you be doing of this?
I forgot how many, but I'll be traveling until November 2021.
Wow. That's like I
Yeah.
mean, Jesus, that's
So
not
there's a
it's
couple of
11 months.
legs.
It's a full year.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. So, like I said, it's those anchor dates with the Oddities tour, then the drive out, a week there in whatever city, and then a drive back to my next destination or back to Pittsburgh to kind of reload and everything. Because we're just traveling with the van. Like, I have the trailer, but I'm just kind of waiting for that to be exposed to the world once things kind of calm down, as far as like outdoor gatherings and stuff. Just because I don't want to attract a huge crowd with a big espresso cart and being like, hey, come to Black Forge,
right.
so then, something bad happen or whatever. So I'm just going to kind of wait for that to cool down before I bring out that full trailer.
Yeah. I do remember you talking about that, and yeah, I would imagine it's probably the best way to move about things. Um, so in in my experience, just being out on the road, and I know this has only been one leg, but like and I guess also like the environment's a little weird, right? Because you already just mentioned the pandemic, but like tour connections are wild. Like the people that you end up meeting
Yeah.
and like are it's so strange, but like sometimes they can be pretty pivotal like in your life moving forward, like just the randomness and how they come in, all of a sudden they have this staying power in your life. Like, have you met anybody cool that's like either just personally or like good for business, like moving forward?
Yeah, seriously, every single person that I met was just like out of this world, supportive and amazing. Like, I am so, it's hard to put it into words because, like, never really been to California, never drove cross country, and like people being aware of where we are and like who we are. Because even at the convention, someone was wearing a Black Forge mask in California, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. But that was really awesome. But one person that I met, he works for that water can company, Liquid Death.
Yeah.
So this was really, really cool. His name is Jeremy. He works for Liquid Death, and it was in Long Beach. And we were at Alex's bar, and he was just like delivering water to the venue, and like he stopped by to say hello, and he was like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, we're a traveling coffee shop doing this thing. Here's my mission. He's like, this is wild. We have to figure something out. So you work with Liquid Death. And I was like, I don't know if that's possible, but that's a cool thought. But
That's awesome.
he put me in contact with their marketing director, and I like emailed them my mission, who I am, what I'm doing, and I was like, hey, this is a lawn shop. It'd be really cool if we did something together. Haha. And I'm so used to people not responding to my emails because I get it. Like, I'm just some random chick from Pittsburgh. Like, it's fine. But they emailed me back, and I'm meeting up with him in Colorado. So he's gonna load us up with a bunch of water, and we're going to figure out a way to work together in some sort of capacity. If it's just like, hey, we're carrying some of their water. And what we discussed was selling some of it and donating it to the cause. So 100% of the proceeds raised through selling those cans,
Right.
I'll donate to the venues as well.
That's awesome. That's super, super cool.
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with them because they sponsor like a handful of podcasts that I watch. So some of the
Yeah.
video ones, like the dudes are just sitting there drinking this liquid death or whatever. And actually, the first time it came out, like there's one podcast that I watch, is two co-hosts, and the one is like the guy who's always involved with the sponsors, and the other guy's just kind of floating along. And he's like, "What the hell is that?" Thinking like he's like drinking while they're doing the
Yeah.
podcast. And he's like, dude, I'm obsessed with this. It's called Liquid Death. It's just water. And he's like, I just slug these things. And he's just
Yeah.
chugging water the whole time. It's funny. But
It's
yeah, that's how
good.
I'm familiar. I mean, it a good refreshing water anytime. And this is from somebody who will always probably take a beer over water, but like a good refreshing water whenever it's time to have a water is always great.
Always choose liquid death.
And the plugs begin.
Yes.
So, I mean, obviously there's a lot left to go, but like you wouldn't consider any of these like stops. None of them have been like a bust. Everything has been relatively successful so far.
So amazing. Like, you know, it's just like playing a show. Like, some shows are good, some shows aren't, but you still have a great time and you're there and you get to meet people and again connect. Just like every business I was at, and like every single person that I met again was just super supportive, like cared about the mission, and followed us on social media, which is really cool. Like, I had a couple of connections with like random people. We were at Golden Gate Bridge yesterday in the morning, and this kid parked next to us, and he was just like, "What is this?" And we're like, "Oh, like da da da." He's like, "I want to buy a bag of coffee right now."
Oh,
So Lindsay pulled out a bag of coffee and he paid us for it. And he's like, "This is so cool." Like, and then last night, same thing happened. We were at a hot spring in the middle of Nevada, and there was this couple, which I haven't seen a person like all day anywhere out in the wilderness. And this couple showed up and they were in the hot spring with us because there was like 3 pools.
yeah.
And we ended up talking, and they also bought a bag of coffee from us.
That's so cool. That's so
Like,
cool.
just out in the middle of nowhere.
It actually gave me chills when you talked about the kid that spotted you at the bridge. That was yeah, that's so awesome. But that segues me like I into the thing that I want to say to you. So
Yeah.
just like personally, like over the past few years, I've watched you build a business which immediately starts contributing to the music scene on a higher level. Then you expand and you get yourself a new location. And so then now you're doing it double time. And then, like we talked about the last time you were on, you ran into a million problems. And even though it sucked having to claw your way out, you plowed through everything standing in your way. Then, not even a full year goes by, and a pandemic shuts everything down, makes you pivot how you operate both locations, throw in getting wrongfully accosted by misguided protesters. Adding insult to injury, it turns out the government decides to completely abandon the entire business sector of entertainment and basically leaves the entertainment industry to just suffocate and die. Like, people have certainly taken action to try to like alleviate the stresses of this, but like most have largely just bitched and moaned. And the way you respond is to go find a van, go get a trailer, break back into design and video programs so you can create promo material, drum up social media attention, find a way to support the cause, book a nationwide tour, print merch,
Hell yeah.
package up a special coffee blend, which I said that I've been drinking every morning, and hit the road raising money for music venues. So from here on out, no matter what anyone ever says to you about anything, everything I just mentioned in that little rant alone will always make you just a bona fide badass.
Oh, thanks, dude. I appreciate it so much.
I mean,
I
and
really, really do.
I personally can't thank you enough for what you're doing. Like, my life is what it is right now because of the music industry. Like,
Yeah.
my 3 best friends in life are all from music. Like, my best friend Matt is a guitarist in a band that I would have never met had I not gotten into music. My other best friend
Yeah.
is a singer from another band. I would have never met if I have no idea how I would have met him if it wasn't for music. And then like my other best friend was our promoter that then introduced me to the music scene. I now know my other 2 best friends because of her. Like,
Yeah.
my life is not, I can't even imagine who I would be if it wasn't for being involved with music. So like what you're doing to me is so unbelievably special. and means so much. And I really hope that everybody else understands what it is that you're doing and why it's so important, because even though like you're not going to save the world, like you're not going to save the United States music industry, but like people like you need to exist, and more people like you need to exist, because that's what's going to keep it alive. If we're going to be left to ourselves like this, we need more people.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm crying, just so you know. No, I really, really appreciate it. And, again, like, all I ever wanted was to help, like, inspire people. Cause, like, I'm never going to be, on the level of, like, some rich person or whatever, where I can raise thousands of dollars and do all these wonderful things. But on the level that I'm at of just being a small business owner and just being a humble human being, like, I'm just doing the best I can. And it's just really amazing hearing that someone like understands and appreciates the wild and weird things that I'm doing. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I tear up thinking about it, because it like if like going forward, thinking about there not being a music industry is like devastating for me to think of. Like
Yeah,
what would that mean to somebody who would be a younger me, coming up to no entertainment industry, to
right.
having no live stage, no area where like a creative community comes together in like the weirdest, most eclectic artistic way. Like I can't
Yeah,
imagine that that would be such a weird death of culture that would just really, really upset me. It's upsetting me just talking about it. But I can't uh, say how much I respect and value exactly what you're doing right now.
thank you. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. So let's get away from like the heavy stuff. I want to talk about van life a little bit. Um, so give me the rundown on like what initially compelled you to get the van, and then tell me all the steps it took to get the van into like the point where it was tour ready.
um, so let's think about that. So in the beginning of COVID, I know we talked about this. I was just like, what's a COVID safe way to, one, help my business, and two, help other people. Because the initial concept was to raise money for organizations that were involved in the music industry and these independent music venues that I worked for. So obviously I had to take out a small loan, and the people that I always contact when I'm in financial need is the URA, which is the Urban Redevelopment Association, that is in Pittsburgh, and they're wonderful people to work with, especially as a small business. They're always there supporting me. Even if I have questions that no one else can answer, they can lead me to the right people. And that's what small businesses need, is more financial help and aid, and those are the people that I absolutely recommend like talking to if needed. But I told them my mission, wrote up my entire business plan, did my financials, just all the stuff I'm used to, especially having two coffee shops, just like going through the motions of like, these are the reasons why I need this funding, and these are the wonderful things I'm going to do with this funding. And it took a while because there was a new grant that was, or not a grant, but a loan that was available. And it was a loan for minority woman-owned businesses. And the really, really cool thing is I was the first recipient of it in Pittsburgh,
Nice.
because they just introduced it. And that was really, really just something special that made my mission more compelling to me. Is just like, I have to prove to them that they, essentially put their money and their faith in somebody in this mission that's going to make it possible. And I wanted something that was always going to be like COVID safe. So the van was the best way to do this because I'm used to doing pop-ups with the coffee shop. So what we do is like we either pre-brew coffee or brew coffee on the spot with a percolator. And then we have like a tea kettle so we can serve tea and everything's hot. You know, it's pretty basic, but it gets the point across about what our products are and what we can sell.
Right.
So I'm already used to pop-up life, used to touring life, and I was like, all right, time to buy this van. So I bought this van, and it's a Ford Transit. It's a wonderful van if you're ever looking to, you know, have a good work van or a cool sleeper van or whatever. It's super reliable and it's amazing on gas mileage. Those are the
Ford,
things I
she's
nerd out
looking
about now.
for Ford, she's looking for a sponsorship.
But yeah, so I bought the Ford, and then my buddy Mike, who helped me with a lot of the renovation in McKees Rocks, he built bunk beds in it for us because I knew I always wanted to be able to have somebody to be on the road with me. And it's super comfortable. We get our own little space, and for the amount that I'm traveling and like going back and forth from Pittsburgh and whatever, I can fit about 20 totes, which is like 500 bags of coffee and like all of my supplies in the back of the van on top of the bunk beds.
Right on.
So
I was gonna ask you if you had any customizations.
yeah, just the bunk beds, and it is awesome to have your own space and like you can have all your things in there. It's not that bad. I mean, we've been sleeping in the desert and the mountains a lot, so it's pretty cold, but you just warm up with some hand warmers, stuff that in your like sleeping bag and in your shirt and stuff, and you're good to go.
Nice, nice. So yeah, I was gonna say, well, so you're all good to sleep in, whatever. I know you have your dog on the road. You have like a
Yeah,
dog zone set up?
come here. Oh, here's
Oh,
Lou.
what up, bud?
Do you know what's going on? No,
I
you
love
don't.
his tag.
But yeah, no, he's been awesome. Like when we're out in the middle of nowhere, I just let him run around off the leash, and he just has the best time sniffing all the bushes and flowers, and just like, you know, he's having such a good time. And he sleeps in the bunk bed. I got him wrapped up in blankets and like all of his little sweaters and stuff. He's really, really enjoying it. And then I have this sling that I bought, and I just throw him on my back, and he goes hiking with me everywhere. He went to the beach with me everywhere. You know, he's just a good dog. So
Nice, that's very cool.
yeah.
What about the trailer then? So do you have any like special customizations going on inside the trailer, or is that just going to be just like a hauling device?
So that is going to be a full-on espresso bar. So I have an espresso machine for it, a brewer. It's gonna be just like a mini Black Forge on wheels.
Oh, nice. Well, Jesus.
Yeah. So that I'm hoping by spring, because I have a couple dates set up at a few breweries and stuff that I'm gonna do this pop-up, and I'd like to introduce it by then so I can have the full mobile like espresso bar.
Oh,
Because
very cool.
everyone needs to try a 666 drink.
Awesome. Well, so like I'm actually being very serious about what I'm about to ask you. Like, have you ever considered politics? Like, lots of people do service and lots of people take action, but it's usually in like a very carbon copy kind of way. Like
Yeah.
your version of taking action is full on leadership. Like you saw a dire need, put an entire cause on your shoulders and said, fuck it. If we're going on our own out here, like I'm like not letting my community go down without a fight. Like the problem with politics today is that like we have no leaders. And like I'm looking at
Yeah.
a leader right now. I'm talking to a leader who I know cares. Like, has that even been a thing that like maybe has ever entered your mind?
Oh no, absolutely not. The amount, okay, like, I hate saying this, but like a couple of people have said it to me, and it's like a weird situation, but like some people have said to me, like, I'm one of the most hated women in Pittsburgh. So like, yeah, it's been said a couple of times, which is really, really like discouraging. But if I ran for politics, especially with all the shit that I've been through, oh, there's no way I would have make it.
I I mean, that's hilarious because there's no one that has ever said it. Like anytime that I ever bring you up, our conversation that we've had, like, or that I was going to have you on or anything like that, no one has ever said an ill will word about you. Like
I
it's never.
appreciate that.
So, I mean, I don't know who that information is coming from that like they're trashing on you, but all I
Yeah,
know is that it's it's very encouraging to see someone like you who is literally willing to put down a year of their life and is like, I'm going out on the road. I'm going to do this damn thing. And like, I'm going to help people. And I'm going to help communities. I'm going to help like especially something like a community like the an industry that has been completely abandoned. That's so wild to me. So
yeah.
wild.
No, I mean, with Black Forge in general, like the whole purpose of having an event space was to offer it to everybody because we're a stage. Our stage should be used by touring artists, local artists, poets, just everybody. And that's why, like, especially including in this mission, like small studio spaces and like, what's the other place that I'm working with? Yeah, I just worked with like a burlesque studio, which was really cute in California. And then what's the other one? There was another place too.
The dance studio, there was the DNA lounge.
Oh yeah.
Bar,
Yeah, there's just like a bunch of different like drag bars like Blue Moon. They're one of the people that have codes. And I'm just thinking of places like who aren't, the SOS Act passed, but like let's be completely honest. Venues like that and venues like mine aren't probably gonna get any financial aid, which is, there's a lot of venues in the country that need to be taken care of, but we got to be realistic, and I am a very realistic person, and that's why I'm just trying to do the best I can, because I know, with the amount of finances that is going out because of COVID relief and everything, it's just those little people that no one's really looking out for.
Right on. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know that you are on the road and you're probably pretty anxious to get home. Every little bit of time counts. So I just have to thank you for doing what you're doing. And lastly, just like tell people where they can reach you and follow along with the journey, your website, your social media, any upcoming dates, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. You can follow me personally if you'd like. It's just Ashley Bianca Corts on Facebook and Lady Lightbear on Instagram. And then all the Black Forge stuff on Instagram is Black Forge Shop for, everything coffee related with our shops. And then Black Forge _ coffee van is where you can follow the mission and the journey of what we're doing. Blackforgecoffee.com, that has everything, all of our merch, all of our coffee for sale. It has the van calendar of where we will be. And then on Facebook, we have 3 Facebooks for Black Forge Allentown, Black Forge McKees Rocks, and then Black Forge Coffee Van. And then I also have Twitter, but I'm not very good at it. And one of my employees' fiancés are trying to make me good at TikTok, so we'll try that too. But we're just always trying to find creative ways, and I just love sharing where we're going and the people we're interacting with. So I'll just continuously keep posting about that.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And then I can't wait for you to get back. I'd love to have some drinks with you whenever you're here.
Oh, absolutely. I will get COVID tested first, and then we can hang.
Fair enough. Let's do it. All right. Be safe, take care,
Awesome.
and I'll see you soon.
All right, dude. Have a good day.
All right, you too. See ya.
Bye.